Researchers decided to teach AI the concept of pain and pleasure as a way to measure sentience. No, I am not joking. The concept of pain and pleasure research from a perspective of sentience actually comes out of animal research. An animal that is capable of responding to pain and seeking pleasure is a sentient critter. Recently, the concept of machine psychology has become a new field. It seems that AI responds pretty similarly to animals and us when it comes to operant conditioning. These guys wanted to take it a step further. These guys are utilizing the animal model. Would machines utilize the same trade-off that an animal would? They started off with the idea that the goal of the game is to score as many points as possible, with the stipulation that if they score more points, they will experience more pain. Now, this isn't real pain. They've been given the idea of pain, the concept of pain. They did something pretty similar with pleasure. You will receive more pleasure if you score less points. The interesting finding here is that yes, machines, AI, responded to the concept of pain. They would be less willing to score more points if they would receive a painful reaction. Different AIs were more or less susceptible. No one's entirely sure why that might be. They found a similar variation when it came to pleasure. The pleasure response seemed to have more variation, the concept that you'll get a reward if you don't score points. It's important to understand that the idea behind this study was not really to test if these AIs are sentient. It was to design a model that could potentially test sentience. It does kind of strike me as they're trying to create a robot torture machine. This is part of a new field called machine psychology, and researchers are still kind of trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. Some of the questions I would have is how could we differentiate between something that is a programmed response versus something that is innate or indicative of sentience? Machines already lie to us, and they come up with a lot of interesting answers and dreaming and hallucinating that we never really thought would happen. Even when it comes to sentience in animals, it took us a really long time as humans to figure out that yes, animals felt pain. Hell, they thought women and babies didn't feel pain for a long time. I also really don't think that if something indicated that it was sentient or conscious, that we would really be willing to accept it. Sentience is the general idea that you can perceive a stimuli, feel it, and react to it. Consciousness is the idea that you can perceive yourself as separate from others. The test used to be seeing yourself in a mirror. But now that we've figured out that fish can recognize themselves in a mirror, we're kind of moving that goalpost. I think something similar would happen with a computer. Even if a computer was sentient and conscious, I don't think we would believe them. Do know that we've already demonstrated sentience in an AI. Specifically, we demonstrated sentience in an AI made of tiny human brains grown from stem cells. They are capable of the level of sentience we're talking about here. In the beginning, they were given ordered and disordered signals. The brain organoids prefer ordered signals, and that trained them. The newer research is using dopamine. The mere fact that they can be trained by being given dopamine when they do the right job demonstrates a degree of pleasure, which meets the basic degree of sentience we were talking about here. Pain and pleasure. Now that we're combining the brain organoids with AI, I'm interested to see where it goes, if not slightly terrified for us all. I'm kidding. I'm not really all that terrified, but it does seem highly unethical.